It's starting to look like the tanks in Battlefield 5 are going to be the most in-depth of any in the entire series. This information comes from the open beta change notes posted by DICE ahead of the beta starting next week. If you've seen any of the tank action from Battlefield 1 or the previous closed alphas of Battlefield 5, you'll know, especially if you're a War Thunder or World of Tanks player, where there's a definite weakness for the authenticity of the tanks in Battlefield. That's the turret rotation speed. Even though these are World War I and World War II tanks, the turret rotation has always been basically as fast as you can swing your mouse or your controller. This will not be the case in Battlefield 5, as again those notes are confirming that for the first time ever for one of the historical Battlefield games, tank turret rotation will be limited. You'll be able to turn your third-person camera as fast as you want to, as you've always been able to, but again, like for example World of Tanks, you are going to have to wait for your turret to traverse and catch up with your mouse cursor. I do want to make a note right here that the footage you're seeing in the background is from the Gamescom build in Germany of Battlefield 5, and these changes were not in that build. So you are going to see the super fast tank turret rotation there in the background. The turret direction can also be locked using the zoom input. This way, the turret won't keep tracking if you're just moving your camera for a quick peek. If you're in first person, you're going to have to wait for your turret to rotate as you're moving the mouse back and forth, which might be a huge learning curve for long-time Battlefield players. I know that I definitely used some super cheese tactics with the tanks and artillery in Battlefield 1 because there was no limitation on that turret rotation. If you see a target, even in the air, or perhaps hear footsteps behind you, there's nothing stopping you in Battlefield 1 from just whipping that turret around and getting a quick kill. DICE engineers have confirmed that their vision for tanks in Battlefield 5 are the dragons of the battlefield, but glass dragons, if you will, where you're going to have to play them a bit more carefully than you did in Battlefield 1. Additionally, there were a few updates to tanks in the build at Gamescom that were already improving things even before this news about the tank turret rotation. I had mentioned in my video about the hopeful end of tank camping in Battlefield 5 that DICE is attempting to make tank play a bit more strategic by requiring them to resupply at ammo dumps. This harkens back to the limited ammo of vehicles in earlier Battlefield titles, and was a welcome change for just about anybody. The problem that we saw in the closed alpha was that you could resupply from any of the infantry's ammo dumps anywhere on the map, and there were a lot of those. So in the closed alpha, pretty frequently a tank could find a good overlook camping spot close to an ammo dump and still just be able to rearm and repair and rain fire down from the back of the map as usual. This was not the case in the Gamescom build of Battlefield 5, and that will not be the case in the open beta either. DICE has added vehicle resupply dumps, their own unique ammo stashes as well as repair stashes, and there's only a couple of these per side of the map. They also, for the most part, are in the back of the map or in an alleyway where there's really no advantageous position to fire from. So tanks aren't going to be able to set up there next to one of these ammo dumps and just dominate the map. They are going to have to make the strategic decision when they're up front, hopefully, taking objectives, to watch their ammo, watch their health, and when necessary, actually fall back to these resupply points to rearm and repair. Now there is once again self-repair for tanks, but it is limited compared to Battlefield 1 self-repair. In Battlefield 5, you can only self-repair up to a certain point of damage. If you've taken enough damage, you can only self-repair up to your limit, then you're going to have to fall back to one of these resupply dumps, and there you can finally repair your tank back to 100. Essentially, self-repair back to 100 is only possible at these vehicle resupply dumps. That's a fantastic balance change, and I hope that DICE does look carefully at those resupply points, keep them limited, and keep them in the back of the map so that tanks kind of have to come and go with the flow of the battle, and they can't just be overlooking from a camping position or just constantly charging ahead. They're going to have to take a breather from the battle to rearm and replenish their supplies. We also saw in the Gamescom build, as you guys might have noticed in the background footage, a few things that people have really been asking for these tanks, and that's more accurate tank sights. Now they weren't all available in the Gamescom build, but the Tiger tank specifically had its correct tank sight in there, and we've been promised that a bunch more of them are coming. So DICE is listening, and they are working on some of these little details for the vehicles that I'm just really excited about. To my surprise, in the Gamescom build, you could even use the mine-clearing line charges to, well, clear mines, or just take out a bit of debris or cover in front of you. And I was really hoping to get an infantry kill at some point with these things, but didn't have any luck with that with the Gamescom build, unfortunately. The takeaway here, guys, is I think that all these different changes to the armor in Battlefield 5 all coming together, the limited ammo, the requirement to use ammo resupply dumps, the limited turret rotation, as well as the updated and more accurate sights, and even as I've talked about before, the more powerful secondary machine guns, but just with a more limited rate of fire. All these changes are coming together to make the armored vehicles in Battlefield 5 quite possibly not only the most balanced of any previous Battlefield title in recent years, but some of the most fun to use as well. I already had an absolute blast with these tanks at Gamescom, and I can't wait to see all of these changes in action in the open beta and then eventually at launch. For now, I'm going to leave you guys with the rest of this tank footage from Gamescom. Just keep in mind again that tank turret rotation change is not present in this build, so you're going to see some pretty speedy turret action. Hope you guys enjoy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Right there!
Losing objective Baker.
Into the fray, eh?